All right, guys, so we're talking about factoring applications today. Basically, it's the stuff that we've been doing, just some word problems about them. So the first four are just some reviews, so let's go ahead and get started on those. We're going to go through them kind of quick. We've been doing these for several days. We need to factor x squared minus 7x plus 12, and the first thing we need to do is make sure it's in the right order. I have my x squared, then my x, then my number. Remember, the sum is your b value, which is the negative 7. Then we have our product, which is our A times our C, which in this case is 1 times 12 equals 12. So we need to break down 12 and see if we can get some factors that add up to negative 7. So we have 1 and 12, but there's no way that's going to work. 2 and 6, still, even if both of them are negative, it's not going to work. And then we get to 3 and 4. Now, none of those will work if we add them together as it is, but since it's a positive product, both terms could be negative. So if I have negative 3 and negative 4, I get negative 7. So I'll go ahead and open up my parentheses, put in my x's. Now I put in those numbers. I have minus 3 in one, minus 4 in the other. Could have been minus 4, then minus 3. Then remember we have to divide by a, but since a is 1 in this case, dividing by 1 doesn't change anything, so there's our answer. Let's look at number 2. Same deal. Is it in the correct order? We have p squared, then p, then the number, so we're good there. The sum again is our b value, which is negative 9. And our product is a times c. Well, again, our a is 1. Our c is 18, so we're looking for 18. So if we come over to the side and start breaking up 18, 1 and 18 obviously is not going to work. 2 and 9 is not going to work either. If we go to maybe 3 and 6, well, that would give us 9, but not negative 9. But again, since it's the product's positive 18, they could both be negative. So there's our answers. Let's open up our parentheses. I'm going to put p in front because that's our variable this time. We got minus 3 and minus 6, but of course, it could be the opposite direction as well. And again, a is 1, so remember when we divide by 1, nothing changes. I'm not sure if I got cut off there or not, but now we're going to do some real-world problems that involve factoring. So it says when we deal with real-world problems, a lot of times with area, well, we need to remember what the area of a rectangle is, and that's length times width. So number 5 talks about the area of a rectangle is represented by 3x squared minus 7x minus 6, and it wants us to find the length and width of the rectangle. Well, to find length and width, that's kind of like finding the two factors. So if I take the sum and product and do the swing method, it should work out for me. So I'm going to look at our equation first. The sum's going to be negative 7, the b value. The product is a times c. In this case, 3 times negative 6 is negative 18. So I'm going to break apart negative 18. 1 and 18, no combination of those are ever going to give us what we want in the negative 7. 2 and 9, though, kind of look like a possibility. One of them have to be negative, and we need it to be negative 7. So I'm going to try 2 plus negative 9, and that looks like that's what we want. So open up my parentheses. X is our variable. I have plus 2 and minus 9. Now, those could be in a different order. It doesn't matter which is first. But I have to do my division, and this time I notice that my a is 3. So I'm going to divide both sides by 3. Now again, we need to make sure our fractions are simplified. You can use your calculator if you need to. Our first one is 2 over 3, which is as simplified as it can be. So I'm going to swing the 3 up, 2 in front of the x, and add the 2. Now x minus 9 over 3, negative 9 divided by 3 is just negative 3. So it's simplified, and there's your answer. So it's exactly the same as what we've been doing. You just have to recognize when to use it. Let's go to the next one. This one says the area of a square is represented by 4x squared plus 12x plus 9. What's the length of each side of the square? Well, just like a rectangle, that's length times width. So we're going to break apart our trinomial to find its factors. I need the sum, which in this case is positive 12, the b value. The product, again, is a times c. In this case, 4 times 9 is 36. So I'm going to break apart my 36. I need something that adds up to give me 12. 1 and 36 obviously is not going to make that happen. 2 and 18 are obviously not going to work either. They're way too far apart. 3 and 12, we're getting closer, but that's not going to work either. I can see if 4 goes into it 9 times, but no combination of 4 and 9 is going to give me 12. But then I can go to 6 and 6, and I realize that that one's got to be my answer. So I'm going to come over here and open up my parentheses. I have x plus 6, and I have x plus 6. Now I need to do my division. I notice that a is 4, so I'm going to have to simplify a little bit here. 6 over 4 can be simplified, to 3 halves. I can take a 2 out of top and bottom, and then we have the exact same thing in the next one, so that's also 3 halves. Now that we have our fraction simplified, we can take the denominator and swing it to in front of our variable. So I got the answer on this one is 2x plus 3 times 2x plus 3. So there are your length and your width. All right, guys, let's go on to number 7. It says the area of a rectangular lot is represented by 14x squared minus 19x minus 40. If the width is 7x plus 8, what is its length? So this kind of goes back to when we used the box. It's been a while since we've done that, so I'm going to draw my box. And in my box goes the first and last terms of the area. So 14x squared, and then down here I have negative 40. Now I know the width is 7x plus 8, so I'm going to put 7x, and then I'm going to put plus 8. And now if you remember these two terms over here, we can find but through multiplication, like what times 7x would give me 14x squared? Well, 2 times 7 would give me the 14, x times x would give me the x squared. Now I come down to the other one. What times 8 would give me negative 40? Well, 5 times 8 would give me 40, so negative 5 will give me negative 40. So my answer is 2x minus 5. Now, of course, we could check that. That's written horribly, sorry. 2x minus 5. We could check that, of course, by doing 2x times 8 would give me 16x. 7 times negative 5 would give me negative 35x. And if you combine those, we would get what we want in the 19x. All right. So if you're having trouble with that box method, I know it's been a little bit, just come and talk to me. Of course, you could always go back and break it down the way we've been doing it also. Make sure 7x plus 8 is one of your factors. Let's go to the last two. Number 8. It says a rectangle has a length of 4x plus 3 and a width of 5x minus 2. What would the expression that represents the area, what would be the expression that represents the area of the rectangle? Now remember, the area of a rectangle is length times width. In this case, they told us the length is 4x plus 3 and the width is 5x minus 2. So if we just multiply those together, we should get the area. So 4x plus 3 times 5x minus 2. Now all we have to do is do a little bit of distributing, combine like terms, we've got our answer. 4x times 5x, 4 times 5 is 20, x times x is x squared. I have 4x times negative 2 gives me negative 8x. I move to my 3 times 5x gives me positive 15x. And then last is 3 times negative 2 gives me negative 6. Now I have two values that I can combine in the middle. So I get the answer is 20x squared. Negative 8x plus 15x gives me plus 7x. And then I have my minus 6 at the end. So there's your answer. All right. Now we've got one more to go. Let's finish it up. Number 9 says digital images are composed of thousands of tiny pixels rendered as squares. Suppose the area of a pixel is 4x squared plus 20x plus 25. What's the length of one side of the pixel? Now this is the exact same thing that we've been doing. So let's go ahead and use the swing method and factor this. First, I need my sum, which is 20. And then I need my product, which is A times C, which is 4 times 25, so you get 100. Now you may have to break 100 down a little bit. It's kind of a bigger number, but we need to have two factors that add up to 10. So 1 and 100 is definitely not going to work. 2 and 50, also not going to work, way too far apart. We have 4 and 25, but again, that's still not going to give us positive 20. And then I have 5 going 20 times, but again, that's not going to add up to give me 20. 6, 7, 8, and 9 don't go into 100, but 10 does 10 times. And when I see those, 10 plus 10 is 20, so there's my answer. So I'm going to break this up. I'm going to have x plus 10 and x plus 10. But I need to check my a value for my division, and it is 4. So I'm going to have to divide both my 10s by 4. Now we have to simplify the fractions, and again, you can do that in your calculator. I get x plus 10 over 4 simplifies to 5 over 2. And the second one is exactly the same, 5 over 2. Now that I've simplified my fractions, I can swing the denominator out into the front, and I get my final answer at 2x plus 5 times 2x plus 5. Now remember, any of these answers where we factored, you can use like we did in number 8, where we distributed our two factors and got the product. You can do that here. You can multiply 2x plus 5 times 2x plus 5, and you should get 4x squared plus 20x plus 25. If you don't, that means you're not right. So you can remember, you can check your answers. Hope this helps, and good luck.